All right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast called Split Decision, brought to you from the Ruloff Family Inc. studios. Bueller and Dodge at the mics, ready to break you off some mixed martial arts knowledge. Of course, recap the fights from last week as well, and check out the news that's happening this week. Joined this week by Dave Madden from MMA Gold, and your gym up in Northern California is...
Well, not my gym, but the gym that I work with.
The gym that you work with.
The team that I work with, the MMA Gold, they're in El Dorado Hills. The gym's called Urban Sprawl Fitness, and... they're just an awesome team to work with, and I host their blog, MMAGoldFighters.com, and I don't train with them. I like watching them beat the shit out of each other, though, and that's fun. And then, so they're an awesome, they're like 50 deep, you know, amateurs, pros, and... Very
cool. We heard the name Aspen Lad earlier when we were talking. Who else do you work with that works at that works out of that gym?
Just names to know. Get your notepads out. But Max Griffin, he's going to be actually out of UFC Fight Night 106 in Fortaleza. He's taking on Sergio Moraes.
Nice.
And there's Brita Carpenter. She recently got signed by Invicta. Yaya Rincon recently signed by Invicta. And GKO8, or GKO9, sorry, is going to have Super Sam Toomer.
That's Global Knockout.
Global Knockout. Sick promotion in the area. I mean, it's one of the leading ones, you know, just the names they're bringing and sick fights. But he's taking on Anthony Avila. It's going to be a huge fight. And Anthony Hernandez, known as Fluffy. He's the best, man. I'll go on and on about him, but he's taking on Mike Persons out of Gracie 209. So
really? Gracie 209, okay.
Scrap pack. So that'll be a sick one. And so those are the big names that come to mind. And there's so many other pros and Amis coming up. And sick. March 11th is a great card with tons of their Amis. So
you got the new Invicta card that was just announced for the end of March, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah.
Anybody from your gym fighting on that one?
Not that I've heard of yet.
Okay. I just saw the announcement that posted for it today, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think isn't that where Avengers getting the rematch?
Yes. Yeah.
So Aspen hasn't heard nothing from the UFC, or has she?
Is that bullshit? I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? No, not that. And if I knew before it's out there, I wouldn't be able to share. But it is. That's kind of the fun side of it, where you get to work so close with them, and you hear like, "Oh, that's your matchup. I can't wait till that comes out," you know. And you really sit there waiting. But no, she hasn't heard anything, and but she's definitely, you know, worthy of a. Getting in there to show, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she can handle her business in there. So I can't wait till she is. They let Cindy Dandoin, and, you know, not that she wasn't worthy at all, but...
Yeah, I was saying that's one of our stories we're talking about today, how the UFC signed her.
Yeah, Aspen was supposed to actually be fighting her at the last Invicta, and then something came up early on. The matchup fell apart, and...
Which seems to happen, as we'll talk about as well from this past weekend.
Yeah.
So your podcast is the MMA Gold podcast?
Yeah, we do that with the team, yep.
And you can find that where?
It's posted at MMAGoldFighters.com. MMA Gold Podcast. I'm sure if you Google it, it's there. But
it's on the Google.
Sure, it's on it's on iTunes, all of it. But MMAGoldFighters.com houses everything, you know, related to the team. So
awesome.
I always try to direct people there.
Perfect. Well, thanks for being here. I'm sure we'll be able to pick your brain on some of these articles that we're going to be jumping into. Like from MyMMAnews.com, Cyborg was granted her retroactive
therapeutic use exemption for her, what exactly was the full long? Does everybody remember? Spironolactone.
Yeah.
Right?
Which everybody was saying is a way to hide
prohibited substance, category, and then diuretic and masking.
Because as we know, she was having issues getting her weight down. She had some problems when she did get it down. She said her blood was too thick to even draw. Yep. Lots of health issues around that. What people are upset about online, from what I've seen, is that she's talking about transparency and how she wants to be honest moving forward and all that stuff. But people are criticizing her, saying, you were only honest about this after you got caught.
She was saying, though, they had already begun. They didn't release it to the public, but she already began talking to the USADA about, hey, by the way, I've been taking this under the guise of a medical doctor. I want to let you know it's going to be coming up.
So the people that you work with at your gym, obviously they all have to make weight and they all have to figure out different ways to do this. And they all want to take supplements. They all want to do things healthy and correctly and legally. Do they ever encounter things where there's like, I don't know if this is going to work. Who do I talk to about this? Have you ever seen that situation unfold?
They have a condition nutrition specialist. His name's Coach Doug Casebeer. So he takes care of their nutrition, their strength and conditioning, and he's appalled at hearing things like cyborgs on birth control. He was appalled by this, you know, and he definitely tries to go with that all natural fighter idea.
Okay.
It's kind of funny around the region. The joke is he's got them all on steroids. Reason being, Aspen Ladd, who was a flyweight, puts on all this muscle and is now a bantamweight. I mean, she was just, she'll say it over and over. She was 18 going pro. I mean, she's this little kid. I mean, basically, she's growing into her body and growing into her strength. And so, anyways, that's kind of the joke. So it's funny. They're on steroids.
They're all
that's what he does.
That's what Nick said, or Nate says. So my question for that would be like, if Doug is the man, then does he make sure that he's on the up and up with all the new things that come out from USADA and stuff like that? So if a fighter finds something that they want to try, they can bring that to him and say, "Hey, is this okay for me to take?"
Yeah, I've never asked him that specifically, but I would assume
Everything's run through Doug.
Yeah, he's on it, and he definitely tries to pull them away from all these supplement usages and be all natural. Here's how you do it. You need this diet. You need this food. You need this training with this food.
So I mean, it's as far as meal plan, meal prep.
Yeah, he has the Coach Doug meal plan, and I've tried to coax it out of him, and he said he'll give it to me, and we can't share it, but
for a low cost.
It's very, but he is one. He
for
does
4 easy payments.
He works
Act
with
now.
MMA Gold.
Get
Obviously,
2 meals.
he's housed out of there, but he wants to help the world with this. He sees
cool.
the pitfalls with someone like Cyborg being given birth control, and he thinks he can actually help Cyborg, and he talked about that on what I had him on a show, and he talked about how I can help Cyborg. I can get her to this weight. I can get her to 135, even. And
I don't know.
He's
if
knowledgeable, man.
She's
But she's huge.
reach out, Cyborg.
Yeah, because when she hit that 140, she looked like she was gonna die. But then again, like you
Then
said,
you watch that documentary that they put out where she's
Yeah.
like in the the salt baths and that sort of thing, and she's just crying.
But there's different
and her
approaches
body's
to it,
shaking
And,
Right.
and if Coach Doug has a different approach to it, who knows? Go see Coach Doug, Cyborg, see what happens.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know
go
who
see
Coach Doug
Doug,
is.
go see Doug,
I
go
just-
see Doug.
I see Doug. I see Aspen Ladd about like ready to take a Flintstone vitamin, and Doug jumping out of nowhere. Yeah,
He's that
Get
quick,
off.
man. He has them all hooked up to stuff. But it's kind of cool to watch them take on his. He'll tell them to do this and that. Do this, do that. I mean, in the end, they are their own athlete. They are their own person. They are going to make their own choices when they leave the gym. I mean, Coach Doug can really only watch so much, but it is cool to see them ask questions. Hey, what about this? Why are you having me do this? And they have to ask multiple times, man. This is a lot to take in. Nutrition, condition, your training, your this, your that. They really have a lot going on at once.
Oh,
Makes sense.
it's so much that that even a typical fan doesn't understand, and when they get so pissed off, it's like I don't even want to try to explain it to them because I don't have time to sit down and explain it all to them, because they're like, when they say, well, I don't understand why they don't do this and that. I'm like, look, they're trying to hold down a full-time job, live life, and train to
all the
fight,
time,
which training for these fights lately is a life in itself. So you're basically living a double
Everyone's
life.
a full-time critic. We see that in so many things.
Oh.
But I like the. Can I hire Coach Doug to come and slap burritos out of my hand? Like, when I go to the taco truck and I'm about to take a bite, just whack. Like who was that did it to Rampage?
Yeah.
With his donut.
Yeah.
Whoever that guy. I didn't hire that guy. Moving on now to
another fighter that's got a retroactive therapeutic use exemption. This time for an inhaler. Gian Vellante is going to be allowed to use his inhaler, which is a Briolepta inhaler. It's
It's a steroid.
kind of So it's technically a steroid. He's been granted his therapeutic use exemption, so his fight with Shogun Rua will be going on UFC Fight Night 106.
It's amazing to me that like steroid inhalers are things that are banned.
Well, I mean, we talked about it before. Again, Chad Mendez, who had a steroid cream for his skin condition that he had. Nope, you tested positive for it. Well, I have the cream. Nope. He's
Doesn't
like,
matter.
all right, I guess I'm out for 2 years.
To be popped as a user for using an inhaler.
Yeah, so I mean that's what Brock Lesnar originally said. Remember, he was going to say it was
but he was full of
it was
shit.
an inhaler. It was
full of shit.
it was my tattoo on my chest. It was like excreting something. I don't know what it was on. Maybe it was the ink. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. They are talking
right off the tip.
Yeah, right on the tip. It's got a little drip right there. It's weird. USADA has talked about the therapeutic use policy, saying we will make the best efforts to expedite late filed therapeutic use exemption requests in advance of the athlete's intended use. However, we will make no guarantees regarding the process of whether or not it'll be within a time frame. They will be considered once, but they're going to make no. That you're going to be doing so at your own risk is the only way to ensure use will not result in an anti-doping policy violation by obtaining it after. So basically, what they're going to say is there's going to be no punishment if you apply for the therapeutic use exemption. However, they're not going to be all guaranteed. They're not going to be all granted.
I guess that makes sense, but you're telling on yourself before you have to tell on yourself. But if they
Yeah.
catch you, then no matter what, if they catch you and you don't apply for this beforehand, then you're going to be busted.
Yeah. So you know, it's something that they are saying that there's no punishment for applying for it. However, there are some standards. You know what I mean? You're still going to have to make sure you're within the rules and make sure that you do have a therapeutic use for it.
I'm sure if you apply for something like this, then you're going to hit every random drug test possible, though.
Every time I use my inhaler, man, it is a good day. It is a good day. So I get it. You can't have those things loose in the UFC. Yeah, it's wild, man. I think it's wild, too, to have them on top of all this. You have to do this before you do this. And you have to do this before. They're not going to know how to.
No.
Even if they have a manager, their manager doesn't know sometimes how to do this stuff. I mean, come on.
Well, it's just like Dennis was just saying. They're holding out a full-time job. Some of them are raising a family, and they're training to be fighters, and they got to worry about doing this.
Yeah, because you could get like a rock star right now, and I'm sure there's a rock star out there that has something that's banned.
That's banned in it, yeah.
It's the taurine, I think.
What was it? The Chernobyl that like powers the hot tub time machine, like whatever it was, the little energy drink.
Well, what about
the
like,
Russian energy drink?
3 years ago,
Chernobyl makes sense.
remember cocaine came out?
Yeah,
And it was only out for 3 weeks because it was giving people heart attacks.
Yeah, the cocaine energy drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that thing existed.
It was some good stuff.
It was good. It was
and if
amazing.
anybody knows where I can get some cocaine,
I'm like half a Red Bull with my heart.
John Jones.
So.
John Jones. Tweet him. At Johnny Bones.
Another bizarre
I'm pretty
story
sure
happened.
there's a liquor store down the street from the Greg Jackson camp that might sell it.
all hate mail can go to Dave Madden.
Dave
Another bizarre incident we had happen. Terri Etim, former fighter from the UFC, apparently went a little crazy. Jumped out of a moving car and ran amok in and out of traffic, throwing himself up against 4 vehicles, including buses, shattering the windows. People said it was just unconfirmed if he was in with some friends.
Was it multiple cars or
multiple cars
And buses.
and buses?
Well, breaking bus windows isn't as hard as you think it is.
Well,
True. It's not.
He was trying to feed the bus a carrot.
I know, but
Apparently, he was screaming and shouting up and down the road, throwing himself into cars.
PCP.
And how many energy drinks was he on?
Fastball. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently it was.
Well, we'll wait and see what comes
wait
out of
and see
that.
what comes out of this. Etim was in the UFC all the way up until 2013. He was to 6-5. Last decision win over Patrick Snowball at Bellator 109 in 2013. He was also the guy who got hit by the first ever wheel kick that I've seen.
Really?
And just went stiff as a board.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, if Edson Barboza was there, man,
Yeah.
we could have stopped this thing.
He could have stopped this immediately. Just one wheel kick.
Shut up, Adam.
Come on, Barboza. Where were you?
So now we need Edem
That's the
versus
superhero
Miller.
we need, not the one we deserve.
So we need Edem versus Miller with Barboza as the ref, right?
There you go. I don't know if that's weird.
The crazy belt? That's not the crazy, belt.
It's just held together with like plastic
Man. Some zip ties.
zip
and
ties.
shit.
Macaroni.
Yeah, it's got macaroni attached to it.
Fucking yarn.
Sounds delicious.
So yeah, UFC's inside has signed Invicta veteran Cindy Danduos. Will be fighting Alexis Davis at the April 22nd card in Nashville. So another girl coming over from Invicta.
All right.
Very cool to see.
Good luck. Alexis Davis just came back, lost to Sarah McMahon.
That was her first fight back from pregnancy, right?
Yeah.
Who looked awesome against Gina Manzon. I mean,
Yeah.
again, who is Gina Manzon? I mean, she's just being brought in here, but she looked ready and she looked, wanting that win. And Alexis, she was
It's really-
brutal. Or sorry, Sarah McMahon.
Sarah McMahon was brutal, yeah.
So you work with the women fighters. For me personally, it's been hard to gauge the
Talent?
not talent, just
Skill level?
Maybe the
they
skill
stack,
level
I guess,
because in one fight a fighter will seem real ferocious, and then
Yeah.
get in the ring against somebody else, and you're just like, where's it at?
Where's the
you know?
other?
Felice Herrig was a big one.
Yeah.
You know, all through the tough, we thought we were going to see this, this little Wolverine come out, and then we just never saw it, and then now we
Their last
finally
fight?
seen it. The
Because
last
maybe
fight,
she was less Chihuahua, and more.
yeah.
But they're pits over there. Man. They train so hard. I know Aspen. All the guys will tell you she hits hard and she works harder than anybody. Brita, you watch her hit, you can hear the pads from across the whole gym. I mean, she hits so damn hard. I was bummed when she couldn't fight Heather Hardy.
I can't wait to see Yaya when she fights, because dude, she seems like a down home farm girl. Like she's just.
She has like that Aspen strength, but then she has this amazing athletic ability. I mean, she played college basketball. She played, sports up until how late, and I thought, wow, but women's basketball is pretty intense. And to translate that into
she shouldn't have no problem with their cardio.
You get to get technical fouls, on purpose. Like, shit, man, she's going to kill somebody. But she's awesome. So, yeah, they train so hard, and they stack up, dude. I think so,
I think we're going to see a big closing of that gap, though, too, now with women's MMA becoming more mainstream than it was before. I mean, we've only seen it just introduced in the last couple of years. So, of course, over that period of time, you're going to see women who have been training for a very long time, waiting for that moment, and other women who didn't realize it was going to be an option to them that are now training harder than they were before. They're more dedicated than they were before, but they still lost a few years on that training because they weren't going as hard. So I think we'll see that gap close over time as it continues.
Even getting them fights is hard, man. There's a girl over there named Ashley Medina. She's an atomweight. She needs to fight at 105. She's so small. She always has to fight at 110. Always has to fight at 115.
Tell her to weigh in with leg weights.
But that doesn't change when she gets in there, man. I mean,
right. She's got to go to Japan.
She's still AME, coming up, but it's getting them fights. She needs that experience. Let's get her in there. And so many Abritas fights have fallen out. She has some funny stories of fights falling out, but getting them fights, they need that experience.
And with the women in the UFC, the big rumor is we're going to see 125 by July.
That's what I've heard too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Speaking of women's MMA, we talk about obviously women's MMA only coming around in kind of the popular in the mainstream. Women's MMA actually started in about hook and shoot in 1995. Jeff Osborne started hook and shoot. He will be having his last event March 4th. Hook and shoot you can find on Fightpass. They have, I'm pretty sure, their whole library on there. You can see some amazing fights. A lot of Hall of Famers came through there. Chris Lytle, Jeremy Horn, Travis Luter, Ian Freeman, Ivan Salvary. They were all on these cards. Some of the women have also fought there. Tara LaRosa has fought there. So he was doing whole women's cards. He was doing women's championships. He put together women's MMA before pretty much Scott Coker took all the credit for it.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you keeping score at home, the UFC debuted in 1993. Hook and Shoot started in 1995, 2 years later.
Yeah.
And he was the first one to bring women's MMA around, but it wasn't really recognized by the mainstream.
There wasn't a whole lot there,
Because not a lot of people knew what Hook and Shoot was. They knew it was a place where someone like Jeremy Horn came from, but not necessarily where they could watch other events. So then Scott Coker was able to bring in some of the girls for Strikeforce, and you see it happen there, but that still wasn't the UFC. So that's what I mean by it being in the mainstream. That's the big dog right there. So
and KFTC had already been around 10 years.
It's a trip. There's a book called Godfathers of MMA, and it's written by Bill Viola, and his dad was, and working with someone else, they almost had MMA. It was like they were almost doing it, but they were like at an amateur level. They were in headgear and pads, but they were allowed to do whatever. They could go to the ground, they could do this, and they were invited women. But they, the women didn't, no one signed up, or a couple did, but then they didn't fall through. But it was just an interesting book where they were on the cusp of doing MMA, 10, 15, 20 years before the UFC. So anyways, women want to do this.
Well, if you want to check out one of the best hook and shoot fights, I have to agree with this article we have here. Aaron Riley against Shane Garrett. Check that out. I'm sure you can find it on Fight Pass. It was an amazing fight. It was in what they consider pancrase rules, which means no closed fist, open palms only, but it was still an amazing fight.
Oh, so the UFC has the library?
They have the library. Okay, it is on Fight Pass,
Fight Pass is kind of a pain in the ass to work, and I want to watch this fight at this time, and
they're still working out a lot of the things about it, and we'll see how the change goes too now that obviously the UFC's been bought, and how there's rumors that I've been hearing and been following through with. They're getting ready to kind of overhaul Fight Pass and kind of
they're overhauling everything.
Has that affected the gym that you work with them not being able to get fight tape and having to use Fight Pass now to get fight tape?
Oh, I haven't heard anything about that. And that was an interesting thing to put out and see. They're not going to provide it, but I mean, just go log into Fight Pass, I guess.
But you have to buy it. They're not going to provide it.
Yeah, I mean, you just with someone on
with one
people.
Person.
Hey guys, you can use my membership. We're good.
Yeah, everybody's got to throw in $1. Oh, we got 5 of you. We're good. Like, I mean, it's not that expensive.
No, just everyone signs up for a 1 month trial, and you're good for like 2-3 years.
You're good.
Can you get that on the Fire Stick?
I haven't seen it yet.
I don't know if you can get I don't know.
All right,
I'll have to look. I'll look it up.
Anybody out there think we can get it on Fire Stick? Let us know. Give us the link.
I'm cutting the cable next week, so I'll let you know.
You're going off the grid.
Off the grid, man.
Todd Duffy is out of his fight with Mark Godbeer. at UFC 209's. Instead, promotional newcomer Daniel Spitz will be stepping in on short
For
notice.
Todd Duffy?
For Todd Duffy.
Why didn't they get Nick Diaz?
This
Or Nate Diaz.
It's heavyweight, bro.
Don't care, man. It's 209. We need someone from the scrap back up there.
It's heavyweight.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Joe Rogan talked about it this week that the UFC missed a huge opportunity.
Huge opportunity.
By not having any of the brothers.
Yeah.
Any of the brothers, even the brothers we listed, right? We gave them like 6 brothers that they could have had at 209.
I was surprised he mentioned that, actually. I mean, I know as a fan, like, oh, that's fun, and sorry, guys. I know that's fun, and
okay, just a
a
little
neat
feedback.
idea. I just didn't think, like, it would go to that level of Joe Rogan's going to complain about it,
He complains about whatever he wants.
No, totally. But
I think he's trying to get fired at this point. He's like the guy on Office Space.
Yeah.
So, see, you've been missing work.
I really would have been saying about missing it, Bob.
What exactly would you say you do here? Nothing.
Yeah, well, I come in, I play Tetris.
Talk shit, cash checks.
Yep.
Get a new announcing trio every week.
Every week.
Which John Anik said was challenging, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's why they got rid of Cormier and now they're moving in Cruz.
We'll see what happens.
Wasn't Rogan only signed on through August at this point?
I guess.
I think he just said he's into U.S.
Only
events
U.S. and only pay-per-views.
Yeah.
All right.
If they're close to where I'm doing a show.
Yeah, he wants to book all his comedy shows nearby. Last little bit of news before we jump into the recaps of the fights that we had over the weekend and preview the fights that we have coming up. Bellator is now suing the UFC to prevent access to documents in an antitrust suit. So obviously we know, started in 2015, there is a class action antitrust lawsuit filed against the UFC. It's been ongoing for quite a long time. They are saying that the UFC has crippled the market, creating an environment where fighters are unable to fight anywhere else, accusing them of running an illegal scheme to eliminate competition from other MMA promoters and systematically preventing them from gaining access to resources critical in other things. UFC says, we subpoenaed all of our competitors for contract and financial information, presumably to demonstrate that other contracts, notably Bellator, are similar in their exclusivity and in their, has been alleged many times, that they are even as restrictive or more restrictive than the UFC contracts.
So the Bellator is now suing so they don't have to submit those documents.
Yeah, they're now saying, no, we're sending in an affidavit that we've already produced in excess of 2,000 pages of responsive documents pertaining to this antitrust case. And they want more information, including copies of Bellator's contracts with fighters and detailed financial records to defend themselves. They contend, however, the information is confidential and subpoenas improperly seek trade secret and other sensitive information protected by disclosure.
Right, because we know that there's contract payment and we know that there's handshake payment.
They're saying it's
we
overboard.
know that for a fact.
Overboard and unduly and burdensome, and the information cannot be adequately protected. The litigants stipulate protective order. Scott Coker says that in a court document, Bellator is not a party in the antitrust case. He stated he should not have to produce any documents, and doing so would harm Bellator.
Wait, so Bellator is not involved in this?
No, it's only against the UFC.
But aren't they the ones suing the UFC for antitrust?
They're now suing as a separate lawsuit. They're not suing it. No. Those 4 fighters. Remember they had 4 fighters that went forward, and they're suing the UFC, saying they have an
But Bellator has nothing to do with those
They
4
have nothing
fighters.
to do with it.
Oh, okay.
They have nothing to do with it.
Well,
Bellator is
whatever.
now doing a separate lawsuit to the UFC saying, no, we're going to block you from taking any of our documents to help your case in your other case.
I mean, if it's an antitrust lawsuit saying that they don't have any competition and it's not fair competition, then your shit's going to be on the board at some point.
Yep.
I mean, it's just going to happen. You're going to be brought in by way of proxy somehow. It's collateral damage.
Yeah,
You know,
pretty much.
I don't see how long they're going to be able to keep that hidden.
It's financial deflection, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, we're not the only kid doing this.
Look at
Because at one point, right, didn't they try to drag in the NFL too?
Yeah, they've tried to bring in all kinds of people. So
That's
I mean, like when they started bringing up the domestic violence in the UFC, they're like, well, what about the NFL?
yeah. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, everyone's basically saying,
that's the classic shark in the water. You stab your friend and swim away, right?
yeah, that's what I do. That's always been my joke when I help teach dive classes.
Fuck that.
Guess what? You're still just getting trained. You don't get a dive knife. I get a dive knife. You know why? Because I'm going to stab you if I see a shark swim away.
I let the air out of my BCD and lay on the bottom and watch.
I would just be dead.
Just cut your air hose.
If we all go scuba diving together, I'm shark bait.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's literally what's going to be on your wetsuit. Shark bait.
Why does this wetsuit already have a bite out of it? Our previous guy doesn't want to dive with us anymore.
What's this weird shadow on the back that looks like a seal?
You're going to be counter shaded. The wrong way.
Yeah, and my dive mask will be a seal face. not the singer.
I was gonna say that'd be pretty.
You might get Heidi Klum. Just saying.
Short period of time, but that's fine. God damn it.
This Saturday we had Bellator 172.
Holiday weekend, so the UFC was moved to a Sunday in Nova Scotia. So they didn't actually compete with Bellator.
No.
And it was interesting because their gate or their viewings did 100,000 more.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the ratings were 100,000 more for UFC on Sunday than they were for Bellator on Saturday.
Bellator on Saturday, though, did lose its main event.
Very true. Very true.
As per sources, Metronome obviously fell ill. Come to find out, he has kidney stones.
Yeah.
He had kidney stones. They said that they basically pulled it up to the event. Chael Sonnen and Tito Ortiz both called in, said that they'd be willing to step up on short notice.
They knew they
and fight
can't. There's no way the
and fight
license.
Fedor.
Was that virtue signaling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have Scott Coker says, "Look, we can't just we can't just put you into the fight. There's no way to get."
Could they have done like a
sanctioning."
locker room brawl though?
I'm surprised Ken Shamrock didn't call in. I mean, he's had this happen with Kimbo before. Like, you know, I'm ready to fight.
Who would you have rather seen fight, Tito or Chael?
Against Fedor?
Yeah.
Tito.
Shale.
I'm going Chael.
No, Shale, because I'd like to want it because he wasn't going to submit
He's
him.
going to talk to him. He's not going to know what he's saying.
No, he would have beat the shit out of him.
I think Tito.
Big head?
Big head.
It's like
there?
whatever. I don't know. Tito and I don't know.
Would you rather
Chael-
see Tito fight Fedor or Chael fight Fedor?
Yeah, neither. Neither. I
So
like-
you went with what Bellator decided. Nobody wants to see that
Way
shit
to
either.
go.
I
Get
heard
the fuck
ideas
off the
for
card.
Czech Congo was an idea, and Fedor said no. Ollie, the Czech Congo's opponent, he said no. I would rather Czech Congo, I guess.
Czech Congo would have been awesome. I don't think Fedor was prepared to eat those right high kicks all day, though. Yeah.
So they said
Dude,
this
that
fight now
sweater
will
could
be
take anything.
The sweater could.
the fight will now be considered around May or June. So apparently those kidney stones are going to take a while to pass.
Sad Fedor, you see him backstage
Yeah.
in the hallways.
I thought he was happy.
That was
Elated?
That was yeah, he was elated.
Elated, yeah.
Throwing that
Because I'm
to
sure
Fred.
he still got paid.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
of course. he
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never had kidney stones, but from what I've heard, they're fucking horrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but what people were complaining about was that, and again, I've never had them, is that a couple days before, and it's not like they just set in
No.
on Saturday.
No, I was standing next to a guy at a urinal, and he just dropped and passed out.
It wasn't kidney stones. He was.
No, it was kidney stones. He ended up losing his pilot license and everything till they all passed.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Wow.
He had no idea.
Ugh.
So you have the main card for Bellator where you had Mauricio Alonso going against Josh Koscheck. Josh Koscheck taking another TKO loss.
Was this his first fight in Bellator?
First fight in Bellator. I believe
He didn't even work hard for the money.
Koscheck.
1, 2, 3. So he's
Yeah.
got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His last 6, he's lost 3 times to a KO or TKO, twice to submission and once to decision.
Once rapidly by foaming at the mouth.
Because he was out on his feet for a little while. He had the rubber
442 in the
legs.
first round.
Yeah, he had rubber legs. It was bad.
You have your women's flyweight bout.
Veta Arteaga up against Brooke Mayo. This went to a TKO doctor stoppage in the third
Mayo
round.
should have won that. They shouldn't have stopped it so close to the end of the fight.
She brought up an interesting point of if she were a man, would they have let her? Did they let Mitrione keep fighting with that goose egg on his eye?
Yeah, they did, right?
Yeah. Clato coming through his
I
eyes.
mean, plus
Start the reactor! Like,
Right?
That thing was fucking huge. Jesus Christ, it was scary.
it was within right.
Free Mars!
We had 1 minute left in that round, right?
Quit.
Yeah, we had 1
Was it
minute.
just a big lump on her head? Is that what they stopped her?
pretty
It,
big.
it was her
pretty big.
eyelid.
Yeah.
Her whole eyelid
Pull
filled
that,
up.
pull that baby
Yeah,
out.
let's get
Were they
that
worried it
going.
was going to rupture or something? Because if it's not bleeding, I don't understand why they stopped it.
Even Mark Hominick, remember when he had that
huge
thing?
hematoma
Yeah.
against Aldo.
So I don't know. That's an
Did they
interesting
stop
point,
Did they stop
you
the
know?
fight for Marvin Eastman's head gina?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well,
Yeah,
he
the
was
gash.
TKO'd at that time.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't believe
Pull
her
up-
eye don't
pull
show
up
up first.
Disgusting eyeball.
I'm sure we can get it going.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Oh, she looks like Sylvester Stallone. Ew.
Should not just win.
No, I don't think it should have been stopped.
Right, that one's the.
Why are you stopping the fight over here? I feel fine.
Look at that thing.
I don't think it should have been
She's just
stopped.
winking.
This is a winky face.
They should make a Brooke Mayo emoji now. that has another emoji popping out of its eye.
I heard you like emojis. So put some emojis on your emojis.
We had the catchweight bout at 187 pounds. You had Anatoly Tokov go up against Francisco Frentz.
France loses TKO the second round, 224.
And your heavyweight event, Czech Congo against Ollie Thompson. Unanimous decision in favor for Congo.
Big time. What, did Ollie not fight?
30-26, 30-25, 30-25.
Did he just stand there?
It's because that new 10-8 rule. You can get it. You can get a 10-8 and not even really have to kill your opponent now.
Wow. Wow.
Because remember back in the day where Dana had said, if I see another 30-25, the other guy better be dead.
Yeah.
You know. And so now the new rule is, I mean, you could see a 30-24, and they're okay with it.
Still okay with it.
Yeah.
And of course, your new main event, Patricky the Pitbull Fury up against Josh Thompson. Knockout 40 seconds into the second round. Was it a knockout, or did the headbutt have anything to do with it?
The headbutt had a lot to do with it, I
Can we
believe.
pull up Josh Thompson's record? I feel like he's just on a bad skid lately.
Well,
I think he won his last one.
Yeah, I believe he won his last
Did he?
one.
what, his first fight in Bellator?
Yeah.
So he had two after he slid out of the UFC.
First two in Bellator.
Because
After
remember,
his 3-fight losses.
the loss to Ferguson was where we interviewed him, and he said that if he wins, he's going to try to get more
He'll
money.
re-sign.
So then we knew he was going with Bellator after that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor guy.
And I mean, his fights in the UFC, his last three that were decisions, two of them being split, one of them is unanimous. Some obviously we talked about, even when we talked to him about when we interviewed, some of those are really close, man. You just feel for the guy, you know what I mean? Doing everything he can to finish a fight, doing everything he can. He probably should have won that fight on some of the scorecards. Just ended up not getting it.
All around good dude, pretty much
Yeah.
local. We always want to see those guys
San
succeed.
Jose, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that headbutt, man.
I missed the headbutt.
I didn't see it until the replay. Obviously, you thought it was like an uppercut, and it came in as a
it was
headbutt.
in an
He
exchange.
fell down, got back up, immediately got.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
So it's rough. Hopefully he gets to continue. His
Jumping
career there
on.
in
You don't
Bellator.
like headbutts, defend them.
Earn it, defend it.
Defend it.
Jumping onto the UFC that is going down or went down last Sunday out of Nova Scotia. This was a crazy night of fights, man. We can jump onto the prelims here with Thiago Santos getting a win over Jack Marshman, TKO, spinning shit. Followed up by some
I love the spinning shit, man. It's always cool, really fun to see the spinning shit, especially when they
Everybody
finish
loves
fights.
And then Ayman Zahabi up against Reginaldo Vieira with a unanimous decision. Split decision followed that with Randa Marcos getting a win over Carlos Esparza.
And going off saying that she was basically that
Harboring issues.
harboring issues. Carlos Esparza was a bully on The Ultimate Fighter. She's been a bully her whole life, and this fight was for her and her sister who's been bullied. And she felt she had to stand up to the bully.
And then Felice Herring called bullshit on that on Twitter.
Yeah. Although, rewatching the season, Carlos Esparza and Felice Herring were kind of catty on that whole fucking show.
Oh yeah, they're totally
They were
mean girls.
Yeah, they were mean girls in it
Yeah,
up, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
As much as I still don't like the blender, Joe Clarkson, I feel like that they were kind of bullyish.
I had to I laughed so hard when you were talking about how one was all blue and one was all red,
Yeah.
but then the quarters
The
were
quarters-
backwards.
I'm like,
and then you're
wouldn't
like,
you-
do you think the judges got confused? Did they
It
not
was a
know who
split
they were
decision.
scoring? No,
because
I know.
Carla is in all blue, but she's in the red corner with red tape, and Randa is all red, including dyeing her hair to match her fucking outfit, and she's in the blue corner wearing blue tape.
It was like a fucking opposite day on a video game.
Did anybody
What it
go
was.
like, "Hey, do you think can we just swap gloves? Just
real quick.
draw the arrows." Like, I mean,
No, we already printed it up.
it's already printed. I can't.
See, and I thought Randa Marcos was going to lose this one going into the split decision here. And there was something, I can't even remember what it was now, but something happened. Carla Esparza pulled something towards the end of the fight where I was like, well, she's going to have a way to file an appeal if she does lose. She ended up winning, so there's not going to be any need for an appeal. I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember.
Oh, well, who cares? Santiago Ponzinibbio up against Nordine Taleb.
Yep.
And this was a unanimous decision in favor of Ponzinibbio. Moving on to your main card here. Paul Felder up against Alessandro Rigi with a TKO elbow and punches. Paul Felder wins that one. Sarah McMahon made quick work of Gina Mazzani submission, arm triangle choke.
But was it
114?
114?
It was quick.
It was
I thought it was
super
under a
fast.
minute.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was pretty fast.
It was a little, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
Good for Sarah McMahon.
I don't. What happened with Gina Mazzani, whatever. She came in way overweight.
4-0 too. I mean,
Yeah, she came in way overweight. She came in late notice. But they were saying before the fight that her camp was going well and her weight cut was going well, and obviously it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not gonna. I've never really seen a camp where they come out and go, "All right, man, my fighter looks."
They look like shit. We have a big chance of losing tonight because they just can't fucking stop eating.
If they just move the legs a couple times, the knee is jacked.
Yeah.
And
Knee is
really
jacked.
staying off of it.
Their elbow, they're going to have surgery about tomorrow anyway. Just hopefully they don't go for that.
And she's allergic to peanuts. Make sure you eat some right before the match.
Breathe in.
No, fuck that. I just brought a diagram of everywhere you should hit my fighter.
Yeah.
Just do
I'm going to call out numbers. Those are numbers on the target.
Yeah,
She had a rough childhood. Bring that up too.
she did seem ready for sure, and yeah. I mean, she did seem ready, and it was
Yeah.
kind of seeing her in the embedded. You thought, oh, maybe
She has a
here's this
chance.
no face.
She has a chance.
No name, no face. We don't know who you are, and yeah, man, she just didn't.
Does she get another fight in the UFC, or should she go back down to Invicta and fight it out for a few more times?
You signed for 3 fights, right?
They could pay you out and they'll send you back to Invicta.
I don't think they. I don't
They
think
don't
they.
have to. They'll do one fight.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
they pull you up from Invicta, I don't think they give you 3 fights.
Mike
Look
Jackson.
at CM Punk.
Oh yeah, that's
Look
right.
at CM
because-
Punk. He's got a 3-fight contract. When's the next time we're going to see him
He's
fight?
got unlimited
Green
fights
Ranger.
in the UFC.
He's fighting the Green Ranger. The Green Ranger's already said he wants that fight now.
He's been asking for that fight since it started.
Yeah, but maybe it'll happen now.
No.
Come on, man. I want to see that fight happen hella bad. Like when Power Rangers opens.
That's the co-main. They do that.
Yeah. Elias Theodoro up against Cesar Ferreira with unanimous decision in favor of Elias. Gavin Tucker gets
Caesar
the win.
looked huge, by the way.
Yes. Yeah, he's the one you said looked like a Vitor Belfort?
Yeah, he looked like a young Vitor
He's like a
Belfort.
Vitor Belfort
He had,
protege,
the
too.
bowl- yeah, he
Yeah.
was. Yeah, and he has the bowl cut kind of thing going on that Vitor had.
Weird. Vitor even made him look like him. Sam Cecilia unfortunately gets a loss here.
Sam the Pizza Cecilia.
Yeah.
Damn. And then Pig Rig, dude. What?
Pig
up?
Rig?
Yeah, he is back and badass. Going
Is
up
he
against Hector Lombard.
badass? I was not
Yeah,
impressed.
he's back.
He's back and allowed to eat.
He's at least he's smiling, man.
Now he's back to Happy Beard guy. Like when he first started, remember on the underground and like Sherdog Forest back in the day, it's like, who the fuck is this Happy Beard guy? Who the fuck is this guy? He's always smiling the whole time.
I like when his corner was talking to him. They're like in the third. They're just like
3 more minutes, you get a pizza. 3 more minutes, and you get some hamburgers.
No, I'm
3
talking
more
to,
minutes, and you get some
Hector
ribs.
Lombard. His corner's talking to him like, do you got anything? We don't got anything.
Yeah. Are you gonna hit him with anything? No.
Because he just wouldn't. I don't know if they thought he had it won or
I don't know.
because the combos went away. Because there
Yeah.
was good combos. First, second
Yeah.
round, good combos. Third, I don't want to say he was tired because Lombard's got. He's got
Yeah. He's got a little bit of a cast ink.
Johnny doesn't. Johnny was tired, dude.
And we'll see how Johnny does at this weight class. I mean, it was funny seeing him standing next to Brian Stan because Brian Stan used to fight at this weight class.
Yeah, and huge.
In WEC, and he's like a foot taller than
Yeah,
Hendricks.
Stan would just hold his head. He would do the Johnny Jones. Hey, stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
And your main event, the murder of Travis Brown by Derek Lewis. Fucking Derek, Mr. Steal Yo Girl Lewis. That's who he is now, man.
Got kicked in the gut quite a few times, kept holding it. Everyone thought he was injured. His immediate interview with Brian Stan is, nah, man, I just got to go make boom boom.
Yeah. It was the first kick, though, and he grabbed his stomach.
I got to go number 2.
Well, he said later on, I heard on another interview, he said he's like he goes, he kicked me and instantly my stomach made that gurgle.
Yeah, it made
and
the bubble.
everybody knows that gurgle. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, butt cheeks hold together. And the new rule, if you shit yourself or piss, it's over.
Really?
Yeah, you can't defecate or release your
Could you
bowel.
imagine losing by pooping? Like,
Can you imagine continuing
Hey,
after doing so?
Is that a verbal submission?
Tim Sylvia did it against Asuero Silva.
Yep,
Right?
that
Who else
happened.
did it?
Some guy. on
Yo
the-
Romero,
So
allegedly.
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 And then there was that dude on the one of the smaller MMA cars that just got up and doo-doo just fell out of his
But
shorts.
he went to a chili eating competition prior to the fight.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
He didn't win either one.
And
He
then,
brought the chili with him.
and then, of course,
And he left it in the ring.
Derek Lewis also makes some comments towards Travis Brown about his putting hands on women. And then
Allegedly, because it hasn't been proven yet,
hasn't-
right?
yeah, well, the UFC
He's-
fought
I mean,
that
he's
one.
so-
No, he made the
He
statement.
definitely
Yeah.
made the statement. Yeah.
And
Forget
then-
that guy.
And then, of course, called out for Ronda Rousey's fine ass.
Yeah, where's Ronda Rousey's fine ass at?
I love the Django Unchained pictures and stuff. That's awesome.
3 hours later, Travis Brown dropped Ronda Rousey off at Derek Lewis's house to make Derek Lewis a sandwich. And say he hasn't said anything because he can't. We talked about this beforehand. His jaw might be wired shut at this point. We don't know.
Yeah, what do you say to Derek Lewis? I'll make you kick my ass again.
Yeah.
I like that somebody put the corner sounds from Edmund over the whole fight. Where he's like, head movement,
Head
no
movement.
clinch, no.
Or the relationship goals that we were talking about before. You haven't seen that one?
Yeah.
It's Travis Brown and Ronda Rousey basically in the same pose post fight.
Knocked out.
Out. It's good stuff. But really, he put Travis Brown in a body bag. He beat him up. Stole his girl. And brought up the charges against him from what, last year, 2 years ago.
And he said his biggest accomplishment is going to go take a number 2.
Yeah.
But he did show that he has no cardio.
Oh, he flat out said, he goes,
he laid on the ground.
he has said himself, I am a one-trick pony. I have knockout power. He's like, when he kicked me in the gut, I was like, I can't do that. I'm going to go doo-doo. I don't want to do this in front of everybody. I got to knock this fool out. He said when he starts getting in the upper echelon, he doesn't know what he's going to do because he is not ready for them.
Right.
He has flat out said that.
Yeah, at least he's honest.
He is honest.
Yeah, at least he's honest.
He's like, I am a one-trick pony.
Well, maybe they showed him that he's got to start working on that.
We'll see.
And I hope that he does.
One of my favorite parts was that part where Brown's kind of getting up, like off the ground. He's trying, and Lewis just like a big brother just throws him back down. And it was kind of funny to hear Brendan Schaub on his Big Brown breakdown. I think and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd have to go back and kind of look at like what happened exactly, but I don't really. I mean, he just threw him back down.
Just threw him down. Yeah. I don't know if there's technique involved. He just kind of just threw him.
I think you called it. He big brothered him.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
He
Yeah.
literally just
Shoot him.
ragdolled him.
Oh yeah, there was no. I would say the last part of the fight, there was no technique. It was just like this fool. I need to knock him out.
I gotta poop.
Oh, just hot doo doo.
So
I'm surprised he didn't tell Brian Stan. Can we interview later? I gotta go, bro.
So there's another name. We have no poop Derek Lewis against poop Derek Lewis, right? Yeah. How do you think no poop Derek Lewis does against high altitude Kane?
It's a solid question. I think no poop Derek Lewis probably wins that one. High altitude Kane is terrible. He'd be Mr. Steal Your Girl again. Yamasaki was a ref for that fight.
Yep.
Catching a lot of shit for his stoppage.
He said, he's like, I usually give these guys a couple extra punches to make sure, because we had Travis Brown was defending himself earlier in the fight, defending himself even on the ground and doing well and able to get back up. He just, I could not get there fast enough with Derek Lewis.
Now with Derek Lewis, you don't give him a couple extra punches.
And Derek Lewis said, hey, I'll take him. Like, thanks, because I wanted to beat him anyway.
Yeah, crazy. Moving on from there, we do have a Bellator going down this weekend. It's happening over in Ireland. It's happening
on Spike TV with we're having a co-card. So you have BAMMA 28 going down at the same time. I don't know if the BAMMA portion is going to be shown on Spike TV. Does anybody know?
I would imagine on Fightpass maybe.
Maybe. Well, they're not on Fightpass.
No. Oh, sure.
That's Bellator.
That's Bellator.
Oh, gotcha.
So you have BAMMA's main event is we have 3 belts on the line.
Which one? Wait, which one?
But I think the Norman Park one's over.
That's the Bama
already.
one? Okay.
I think I saw something on Twitter. He won, but he didn't make weight, so he didn't
Yeah,
get
but
the belt.
Bellator will still, even though it's already happened, they will still show him later, probably later tonight.
Probably later
on
tonight,
Spike.
Why is everybody from the Red Cross fighting?
Because it's in Ireland.
I think people in Europe are
And I think it's the
delayed a
Betty
week
Ford flag.
for Bellators. I think the people in Europe are delayed a week if they're not shown in Europe. You
Oh,
know?
really? Wow.
So maybe they'll still hold them outside for a week and not let them in. That's a Bellator thing to do. Very Bellator-ish.
So we're jumping on here to the main card for the Bellator. If you have a chance to watch it, it's probably on right now. If you're listening right now, if you're watching right now, not. Oh, I have no fucking clue. I don't time change.
We're live right now watching.
Time travel.
It's an hour from now if
got
they're
it.
hearing.
Future happening.
And
Sinead
if it's on
Kavanaugh.
iHeartRadio, it could be midnight.
Sinead O'Connor going up against Ione Rastafarian, James Gallagher.
Just not even gonna.
Not even try.
Dude, I love Gallagher. Is he going to smash watermelons?
He's gonna Kirill Madalovsky's head like a watermelon. That's what I'm calling right there. No, not
There's
probably.
a guy named Krill.
Krill. Yeah, I don't know.
Does he come out to whale sounds?
Maybe. Like Finding Dory.
Colin Fletcher against Alex
I
Lahorn.
speak whale. Oh, you don't.
James McLaren against Shay Walsh. And your main event,
One clickable.
Liam McGeary
one
against
clickable name
Brett
on that entire
McDermott.
One you can
Well, he just found out Wednesday he was fighting McDermott, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the change? Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, 217 is the catch
So,
weight.
but he's the only one you can click on, so he wins the entire card.
The whole
Beats
card.
Everybody.
The whole card.
It's like gonna be like WrestleMania or something.
God damn it, Dodge.
Dodge has the best wallpapers for sure. Big thanks to our sponsors, strongboardbalance.com. Change the way you work out. Get on board, strongboardbalance.com. Find them on Instagram, strongboardbalance. See their workouts. Try to win one for yourself. Also, mymmanews.com. We do this once a week. They do it 24/7. So for breaking news, make sure you follow mymmanews.com. Big thanks to Dave Madden for being here. Appreciate it. MMA Gold podcast. Check that out. And what's the name of the website?
MMAGoldFighters.com. Go there. It has just updates on the team, and the podcast is there, and articles, and
Perfect.
anything you need to know about MMA Gold.
And the team is, one more time?
MMA Gold.
Perfect.
There you go.
Keeping it simple here.
Speaking of Dory,
I thought it was NorCal MMA something.
no, that's his other website, NorCal Mixed Martial Arts.
That's what I made
Dot
because
com.
I'm like, man, I already got all my own press passes.
Oh.
Here, I'll make my own site, and I'll just go all by myself. And you know what I mean?
That's how you do it, kids.
There you go. Do that.
See, I had NorCal rattling around in there for some
Yeah,
reason.
no,
I
that's
don't know
another
Your
one. I do.
tattoo.
That's what it is.
Well, then get NorCalMixedMartialArts.com.
I don't think
tattooed
it'll.
somewhere
I don't think it'll fix this tattoo.
It won't fit. Can I just put .com next to it? Anyway, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. You know, check us out at SplitDecisionMMA.com, on Facebook, Split Decision MMA Podcast, Twitter and Instagram, SD_MMA, and of course, anywhere podcast or broadcast. From the Ruloff Family Inc. Studios, it is Bueller and Dodge saying have a good night. We'll see you at the fights.